hi there, ho there. We're as welcome. You're as welcome as can be. M-A-R-T-Y. PDawgKnight is me. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am here. It's Tuesday, and I'm getting caught up. I was a little late, so I figured I'd just start the stream part of the stream just a little earlier than I said in the thumbnail. So if you're in the notification. So if you went by the notification and you wouldn't know because you're here late. But anyway, I'm here, and so are some of you. So anyway, good morning. Welcome to the show. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I do there? That was stupid. Let's change this one here. Still doing some background work as I speak. But anyway, let's have a good day. If you've seen the news, or at least if you happen to follow the news kind of closely, if you're not like on Twitter or something like that, there's been amazing revelation and a bit of a turnaround in the rhetoric regarding the stupid 19 from politicians, pundits, and even some of the CNN medical people, analysts, whatever. And it's fascinating. And I got a feeling that it might be due to the fact that these people are getting their butts handed to them, just particularly the President of the United States, who is, he's taking a beating in polls, right? And I think they're trying to figure out, hey, maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop lying to people. Because they've been lying to you. And I don't know why. Well, maybe lying is a strong word. Maybe intentionally telling you misinformation, calling other people's information misinformation, because the data, the science, the evidence has been there for a very long time, deep into before this president that we have now was even elected. And so it's a bit comical. All of a sudden, it's February, right? In February, of an off-year election, when the powers that be start changing their tunes. And I think this is running interference for a certain political party that feels like it's losing its grip. And we will get into that after the intro. Johnny, please play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Tuesday, the 8th of February, 2022. I'm in the original shirt, the original sweatshirt that you see in the intro. Just realized that as I'm watching it play. And I have my cup of reparations, although I don't have a different cup. It's Papa Bear cup today. And there was a tweet that I saw yesterday. I'm not going to talk about tweets as much today, but there was a tweet yesterday that has kind of blown my mind. I'm going to move my mic closer so I don't have to talk so loud. It has blown my mind, and that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do, but I just, yeah, it's February, Zombie Teddy, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Did I say February? I said February. Anyway, it's blew my mind because it comes from what would normally be an absolute sycophant of the Democratic leadership. And so that makes it amazing, first of all. And I think the second part that it makes it amazing is that Ted Lieu, who said it, actually said something that is real. It's the truth. But it's stuff that was labeled misinformation on the Joe Rogan podcast when he's been talking to some of these doctors and scientists who are kind of contrarian. You know, they've been contrarian to what we've been doing as far as our policies, and I'm flabbergasted. And then I realize, oh, wait a minute. They got to get their stuff together because they have an election coming up, and they have to find some way to say that this was the science. Blood me with science, da, 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 all the time. They haven't been following the science. The narratives have been completely non-science. But now, all of a sudden, some of the things that many of us have been saying for months, for a year or more, they're starting to say too. And it's fascinating. Now they can say, oh, well, you know, they're just, here, let me fix this real quick. Hang on, I'll be back. Sorry, I had a little microphone problem there, and I'm fixing it now. There we go, and that should be good. Now what they're going to say is, oh yes, well, the conditions have changed, and now we're seeing some things and this and that, blah 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 blah. No. You knew some of this shot a long time ago. There have been studies. There's been this. There have been peer-reviewed studies in many countries telling you this shot, and you just didn't listen, and you just wanted to keep your grip of power. By the way, I just thought of something yesterday that's not related to what I'm saying necessarily, but it kind of is. You know how whenever you hear the words, they use the words that they are a threat to our democracy. All the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, for example. Nancy Pelosi loves to say it's a threat to our democracy. It's a danger to our democracy. It's this to our democracy. Whenever you hear one of them say the word democracy in a sentence of that sort, exchange the word, two words. Change the word democracy to Democrat power. A threat to democracy. No, a threat to Democrat power, because that's what they really, really mean. That's exactly what they mean. And I think some of this stuff that we're seeing now is they're a little worried about the threat to Democrat power. And they're suddenly making these changes in February because they got a strategy. They got to have a strategy. They got to by the summer, and mark my words right now. Mark my words, because several states are starting to talk about getting rid of mandates, getting things back to normal, yada, yada, yada. Mark my words. When we get into the election season, granted, it's kind of starting now, but when we get deep into the election season, come July, August, September, prior to the midterm elections, you're going to hear Democrats taking a victory lap because they saved us from the stupid 19. And they're going to be the ones who's saying, the reason we are able to stop this nonsense that we've been doing is because we saved you. We helped keep the vacations. We've been the ones who we're defeating the virus, which they're not. I want to bring those words back to Joe Biden. I want to we're going to shut down the virus. No. No, you're not. It's bullshit. Oops, I said a word. Anyway, so we'll get in that second. I'll tell you what Ted Lieu said in a moment. But first, let me say good morning to the troops. Good morning, troops. Oh, we got 20 people here already. That's good. All right. First in chat today was Jesse Leon, who gets the bell. Thank you for being here, Jesse Leon. And Tyre Alexander in the enviable position of being second is here also. You're always on the cusp. Also, good morning, Zombie Teddy. Nice to have you back, sir. Good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. Also, JMK's in the house. Come on, mouse. Work. I keep saying I gotta get a new mouse. Also, good morning to Dr. Zach, aka Zach Osborne. Good morning, K Shull. What's happening? Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. I need to have a conversation with my favorite Canadian. Well, I have some Canadian stories today too. But also, good morning to Wikipedia Snippet. Somnambule Nation, thank you for tweeting out the show as you always do. Good morning, Jonathan Peterson. Good morning to Advocatus Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Also, good morning to Tex AG 007. You can just call him Tex. Also, good morning to I said something. Tyler F. Good morning. Okay, is that everybody? Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And looks like that's everyone in the chat. If you're just lurking, that's great. Lurk away. I'm glad you're here. Be careful if you're driving. Be safe. And shout out to the truckers. Oh, speaking of shout out to the truckers, I have, let me see if I can find, no, this is actually, well, you know what? First, let's do, I'm going to start doing this since I make these videos and I figure somebody might as well see them. I'm going to start promoting my proverbs for the current year a little more. And so I'm going to just pull one up here real quick. My most recent proverb for the current year, which is on YouTube. Let's just hit this clicky thing here. All right, here we go. Here's our latest proverb for the current year. And it's very apropos for today. So here we go. Click, come on, there we go. Hey everybody, this is Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome to another proverb for the current year. They don't want your apology. They want your compliance. All right, that's our proverb for the current year. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. They don't want your apology. They want your compliance. I was doing that in my deep voice. I did that. I recorded that at like 3:15 in the morning because I was, getting ready for work, and I'm like, I actually, it was a tweet by Jack Posobiec that I saw, and I'm like, oh, that'd make a great proverb for the current year, and it's very apropos. But when you wake up in the morning, my voice sounds like this. It's because I haven't talked to anybody, and it's really low and deep and whatever. So anyway. That is the proverb for the current year. Pissed off Shih Tzu. Good morning, sir. So anyway, the reason I find that apropos is because Joe Rogan's out there apologizing for shit. Like he was apologizing to Spotify. He didn't really apologize for what he was talking about on his podcast with some of these medical experts. Yeah, it's funny how they have to be the experts that go along with the narrative, or it's misinformation. But anyway, he was out there apologizing, and it's like, stop apologizing. Then the word policy and N-word, you know what I'm saying? Out there apologizing for that. And I went back and I was kind of listening to the context of the things he was saying, and it's just a freaking word, people. And unless it's being used in context, look, I am one of those people who's old enough to have had that word used against me in its most profane and derogatory form when I was a kid, because I was one of the few black kids living, around white people, and it's still just barely into the 70s, right? So, you heard that word quite a bit back then. In fact, you heard it on TV, and that was one of the points Joe Rogan was making when he used it one time. He was talking about how I think it was on network TV, Red Fox used that word, right? On network TV in the 70s. He's making that point, and he said the word as a reference, not as a usage of, a bunch of these down here motherfuckers out here. No, he wasn't saying it that way. He was just saying, Fred, what? He said the word on TV, and every one of those references of that little video were times when he was doing that out of thousands of shows that he's done. And it's just like, come on, man, stop apologizing. Just keep doing your thing. You have way more power than they do. Do you understand that, Joe Rogan? You get 11 million people a day listening to you. That is almost as much as the entire cable network news networks combined, all three of them. Okay, just do your thing. You're not out there doing stuff that's actually hurting people. You're out there just talking to people, and if people don't like what you do, I do have one little suggestion. You're not required to listen to him. Okay? You're not. I was laughing because, by the way, Barbra Streisand, the other day they were talking about how Barbra Streisand put her, little 2 cents in about, getting herself off of Spotify. Well, yesterday there was a fact check on Twitter. Let's see if I can find that fact check. Barbara. Oh, wow. Normally you'd think it'd come. See, she's so irrelevant. She doesn't even come up when you put in the. Oh my God, how many letters do I have to put in to get Barbra Streisand? There was a little fact blurb on Twitter yesterday. So here's the first one. This is when she threatened to pull her music from Spotify, which is hilarious because if you are a Barbra Streisand fan, I'm pretty sure the last place that you are looking to put your music or find Barbra Streisand music is on Spotify. But the second part is apparently that is not true. Barbra Streisand's music is still on Spotify. She has not asked anyone to pull it from Spotify, and so there's that. And that was a Twitter fact thing yesterday. I don't know. I can't find it now. But anyway, if there are people who listen to Barbra Streisand on Spotify, I'm pretty sure that she's making a pretty penny on it, and it's probably one of her few streams of income. Now, granted, she's already very wealthy. She had that, the Streisand effect. That's about her home overlooking the ocean, in Malibu, that they didn't want anyone seeing her home. And then so the Streisand effect was everyone wanted to see her home after that. Anyway, apparently her music's not being pulled from Spotify. So there you go. Let's see. Controversial option. There's a difference from N-words and black people N-words. Don't want nothing and are making life worse for everyone, black, white, everyone. They are the N-words. Oh, there is a difference between N-words and black people. Oh, I see. That's kind of that Chris Rock take on the N-word. But look, the word itself, the only reason I'm not saying it, well, I'll say it later. The only reason I'm not saying it now, it's too early in the show, and I can get in trouble because usually when they review your videos, they check for swear words like within the first half hour of your show. So I always try to wait till between the what do you call it, standby and the actual show. I try to wait at least a half hour, 30 minutes before No, did I say the same thing? Half hour to 45 minutes into the show before I start just letting go. So that's why I'm not saying it right now. I don't care, but wait, whoa, Marty. Rogan is literally holding down lefties and forcing them to listen to all of his podcasts. Is he now? Did he hire those jackboot thugs to come out and make people listen to his show? I could have sworn. Good God, what's with all the Russians today? I'm sorry, I'm going to take care of this bot myself. Jeez, you jackasses. Also, good morning, John Arnott, by the way, and Fox B2, and whoever else has wandered in since I've started this thing. Thank you, John. I appreciate you so much for giving me the laughing pair through YouTube Super Chat. Thank you for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. Thank you for doing that. All right. Greatly appreciate it. By the way, if you want to sponsor the show, you can go to PDawgKnight.live, and if you don't want to give Susan 30%, you can go to PDawgKnight.live, and in the upper right-hand corner, you can continue watching the show because the show's right there, and the chat's right here, but then you have the sponsorship corner up here in the right-hand corner where you can sponsor the show, or you can do YouTube Super Chats, or there's a couple of other options down in the description down below. Thank you. I will read Super Chats and Streamlabs. By the way, it's the Streamlabs link in the PDawgKnight.live. I will read those in the show. If you can't think of something to say, use one of these little dancing pair thingies or emojis or whatever. Or, that kind of happens on its own, doesn't it? Or you can write a commercial. If you don't know what to say, just write a commercial like Tired is. Tired's a prolific commercial writer of sponsor commercials. So, all right, let's talk about Ted Lieu, because that's the cover page today. And Ted Lieu surprised a whole bunch of people today. Whole bunch of people today. Ted Lieu yesterday, when he tweeted something about the coof, the 19, the pandemonium. You know what I'm saying? Ted Lieu, of all people, Ted Lieu, Ted Lieu, Ted Lieu, tweeted this, and there's some people who are unhappy with him, but I think Ted is finally catching on. So here's what Ted Lieu tweeted. With the rapid decline of, oh my God, pandemonium restrictions will be lifted sooner rather than later. In considering when to do so, health officials must factor in natural immunity and not just vaccination rates. This CDC chart recognizes natural immunity, and so should health officials. Oh my God! The broken clock has struck. It's unbelievable. You get another one. What? Ted Lieu? Good morning, Renee Mann. How are you? Ted Lieu said this? Now let's take a quick look at the chart that he was touting here. Here, let's get it so you can see it. So here it is. Figure. Incident laboratory confirmed stupid 19 associated hospitalizations among immunologic cohorts defined by vaccination and previous diagnosis histories from California, May 30th through November 13th, 2021. They've known. Now look, this is from this, I think it's from the CDC, but they've known about this report's from November, or at least through November, I should say. This is something they've been doing the entire pandemonium, right? But he brings this out now, May to November 13, 2021, which was last year. This is something they knew last year for sure. For sure. There's lines. The down here, you can see it. The solid blue line is unvaccinated, no previous COVID-19 diagnosis. The dashed line is vaccinated, no previous COVID-19 diagnosis. The third one, this little shoddy little one here that you can barely see in the gray. Unvaccinated previous COVID-19 diagnosis. And the dash dot line, vaccinated previous COVID-19 diagnosis. Now, as you look at these lines, this is the hospitalization rate. This isn't even the death rate. And I have to laugh at this, how they do these charts, because whenever you want to make something look really big, you end the scale right near the top of where it is. So notice how they have this unvaccinated, no previous COVID. This thing's way up here at the top, like it's huge, right? That's 17. What is it? Is it per 100,000? I think. I think it's 17 per 100,000. Okay, 17. Or no, maybe it's 17. Oh, estimated hazard rate. Okay, 17. Now, unvaccinated. The blue the blue dashed line. See this line here? Vaccinated. Now, that line, notice how it's up here above the line for unvaccinated. Wait a minute. They knew there would be better results for the unvaccinated? There's data to prove that? Than the vaccinated? Now, it says unvaccinated. Notice how the wording here. Unvaccinated, previous stupid 19 diagnosis. Previous COVID-19 diagnosis. Now, what does that mean? Oh, could that be acquired natural immunity? Better than the vaccines? Oh my gosh, how could it be? How could that be? They've been telling us that this is what is Biden's favorite line? This is the pandemic of the unvaccinated. Good morning, Amy. How are you? Nice to see you back. I haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. The pandemic of the unvaccinated. Previous stupid 19 diagnosis, unvaccinated. Better than being vaccinated. All this line is lower. And notice the number too. It's like, this is 2 up here, so 1 would be right here, right? And this is all down below even half of 1. So they know that this is again, hospitalizations, less than 0.5% or half of whatever this is, okay? Less than a half. Rate. Oh, this is the rate, so maybe it's percent. This is amazing. That now granted, and also that look, they have a line also here, vaccinated previous stupid 19 diagnosis. It is almost exactly the same as unvaccinated with a previous COVID-19 diagnosis. So it's like, it seems like the most important, the safe, having a previous COVID-19 diagnosis, natural immunity, for those who've had it, is the best thing that could happen. Now, granted, look, we don't want to make people dangerous. We don't want to put people in danger by saying, oh, well, that's the best way to do it. Well, let's get everyone sick, right? Because we know that there are vulnerable people, right? We know that there are vulnerable people. Now, I was looking at another chart yesterday, and I don't think I saved it, unfortunately. I wish I had, but I didn't. There was another chart showing hospitalization. Or no, excuse me. Oh yeah, no, it was showing showing death rates, right, during the Omicron phase, right, and and hospitalizations, and it was showing that between the difference between vaccinated, difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated, right, and because Jen Psaki, when she was doing the press conference, said something like, well, the vaccinated are 17 or unvaccinated 17 times more likely to be hospitalized. Okay, 17 more times more than what? Is that across the board? Is that across all demographics? And then I was looking at this chart and it shows if you're above 60 years old, yes, the unvaccinated above 60 years old are far more likely to be hospitalized than the unvaccinated above 60 years old, right? There was like, there was the line was about this long for unvaccinated, and then it was like, this long for the vaccinated, right? But below 50 years old was one of the markers they had. At 50 years old, it was exactly the same, and it was like 0.5% of those people hospitalized. But it was the same whether you're vaccinated or not. The same, this is on the CDC website, same. Every age group under that, there was no difference in hospitalizations between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. So they're lying to you. Of course they lie to you. Anytime they tell you something like, you're 70% more chance of this and that than the other, there's a reason they're using a percentage and not the actual numbers. Because 120% of 0.00001% is still way below zero. Okay, or way below, just barely a blip above zero. You know what I'm saying? So they're full of shit. They are full of shit. All right, real quick. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
For sponsoring the show today through Streamlabs and Black Hebrew Israelite. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much, Black Hebrew Israelite. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar. I love saying that. Who says, us purebloods are a threat to the powers that be. Oh, I got stuck there. I'll finish that right after this music. All right, back to Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, us purebloods are a threat to the powers that be. Resist the temptation to get the mark of the beast. Hey, AKA the jab.
That's right.
All right. Look, I'm not a medical expert. I would say talk to your doctor. It seems to be, as we look at the CDC data off the CDC website, that unless you are, this is something Joe Rogan said too. That's, it's funny. What Ted Lieu said there is amazingly similar to what what was the doctor's name? Not McCord, not the guy who did not the guy who was part of the person who developed the mRNA vaccines, but the other guy he had on earlier. Anyway, I can't remember what his name was, but he was saying that, you know what, the natural immunity thing. And remember when what's his name when Dr. Fauci was being asked in the Senate too about natural immunity and the studies out of, I think, Israel, and I think there was a couple other countries that did studies on natural immunity, and Dr. Fauci's like, well, I don't know, gee, this is a surprise to me. It's like, how the hell does immunity work in the first place, you moron? I mean, you're supposed to be the greatest scientist in the history of the world of all times ever. And you don't know how natural immunity works? I hate saying the words natural immunity because sometimes people think, well, you have natural immunity to certain things, as in without anything happening. So in this case, it's acquired natural immunity. So anyway, real quick, thank you, Tyre Alexander, and for sponsoring the show with a bullet. And Tyre Alexander, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Who says, Today, oh, I need music. Hang on. Oh, I was doing the classical thing today. We're not going to do classical music for the commercials, though. Hang on. Let me kick this back in. We need commercial music. I accidentally shut the music thing down. Give me a moment, please, so I can get some proper music for this commercial. Let me see what this today. Okay, this needs something whimsical. So let's try let's go, here we go. This will be good. Let's try this. I'll make sure I don't have vocals though. Well, let's try this one. That works. Today's sponsor is Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss has a brand new book coming out called Ted Lieu Finally Got a Clue. Read as the clueless Ted Lieu goes from a bumbling Asian congressman to a bumbling Asian congressman who has finally joined the rest of the world. Ted Lieu finally gets a clue from Dr. Seuss. All right, that worked. That worked. Okay, there you go. Dr. Seuss. Ted Lieu finally gets a clue. Nicely done, Ty Alexander. That is, you are a gentleman and a scholar and a great American. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. Greetings. Hello, Green Badger Outdoors. How you doing? Man that helped spread HIV, that oversaw the spike protein borrowed from HIV to insert into a SARS-5, is super surprised about natural immunity. Yeah, well, he's usually working in the lab on shit like that, so you never know what he believes. All right, now let's go through. I got a ton of tabs open, so we're gonna go quickly through a lot of them. But so I was talking about how, suddenly we're starting to get people talk about the different things we've been doing for the stupid 19 that that you used to not be able to talk about, but now are becoming true. And I have a new saying, and I haven't thought of how I'm going to make this this new proverb, but it has something to do like everything that was yesterday's misinformation are today's facts. So I'm going to go through a whole series of misinformation that are now facts. So now the CNN medical expert says it's time to lift mask mandates to preserve this. Look, this terminology scares me. This woman's an authoritarian, okay? See, CNN medical expert says it's time to lift mask mandates to preserve medical authority. All I can say to that is,
wow.
CNN medical expert Dr. Leanna Wen, she's insane, said that it might be time to lift mask mandates. Might be? Not because they don't work, even though she's already said that most masks don't work for these particular disease, but I digress. Or because the threat is past, but in order to preserve public health authority for when it's needed again. Oh my, so because we might need to be authoritarian again, so let's just ease off a little bit so that we let these people feel a little bit of freedom, and then we're gonna take it back from them again. When I explained that she was not saying it was a good idea for people to stop wearing masks, but that governments needed to ease up and allow people to make decisions for themselves. Oh, thank you, Dr. Wen. You're allowing us to make decisions for ourselves. I feel so much better that you are allowing us. You're allowing us to make decisions for ourselves. Oh my gosh, you are such a wonderful woman. I love you. Anyway, arguing that people were more likely to accept later restrictions coming from public health authorities if they were first given back some of their liberty and autonomy. if any of you happen to find any dumpster fires, like a dumpster, literally dumpster on fire, and you see Dr. Wen in the vicinity, please don't throw her in it. I mean, I know the temptation. I know the temptation, but don't throw her in the fire, because she does not know what she doth says. Holy Shiite Batman. So here is this. How long is this clip?
You say we can start removing at least
Here
some coronavirus restrictions. Now, tell us why.
This is her. How long is this?
Well,
Yeah,
I
stop
agree
it.
with Colorado, with many other local and state jurisdictions that are beginning to lift government mandates. And I think this is the key. I'm not saying that we should be stopping masking, but rather that this needs to shift from a government requirement to an individual decision. The government can't keep on telling our citizens that this is a 5-alarm fire all the time. People are just going to start
You
tuning
mean
it
like
out
they
and not pay
have
attention.
for the last 2 years? Well, except when Donald Trump first brought it up, when everyone was poo-pooing it, right? And then we went from that to 15 days to slow the spread. And Dr. Fauci, who led the efforts of the United States through 2 presidents, and now this hoe. I'm sorry. This Wen.
And so what needs to happen is we need to
I'm sorry, I forgot. When.
end the state of emergency and preserve the ability of public health authorities to reinstitute mandates in the future if we see more dangerous variants later.
Oh my God. You never know. You would never know that she is from, am I allowed to say that? China! As Dr. Trump, right? As Donald Trump would say. Oh my God. Oh my God. Amazing. Anyway, speaking of, though, but she's not the only one who's saying at least the part about the mask mandates. Virginia Democrat. Catch a theme here. You're going to start seeing prominent, like, mouthpiece type Democrats talking about ending some of these mandates because they're nervous about the midterm elections or the 2022, depending on what state they're in. Virginia Democrats says masks are just political symbols. Oh, snap! Where have you heard that before? Just about everybody. And forced masking violates the First Amendment. As a parent, I've had enough. Oh, let's just give him a based Democrat. A Virginia Democrat state senator had his Joe Manchin moment when in a fiery letter to the Fairfax County Public School Superintendent, he responded to the district doubling down on what he called forced masking of children by vowing to pass a law prohibiting it in the coming days. It has become hard, if not impossible, to find a respected medical researcher who still defends forced masking of children as a public safety measure. Senator Chap Peterson wrote on Monday. Peterson, a moderate Democrat from wait a minute, is there such a thing anymore? Oh boy. Anyway, a moderate Democrat from Fairfax City serves as a state senate where the Democrats have had a thin majority. Oh, because it's had a thin majority, which I'm sure he's nervous about, but anyway, that when he votes with Republicans, Republicans can pass legislation. The decision to wear a mask in public when there is so little correlation with the public health makes it de facto political decision. Oh, God. Who is this guy? In other words, wearing a mask in public, the wearer is able to communicate a political message. I care about others. Or, I voted for Biden. You are forcing children to make a political statement that they and their parents may not believe. This violates the First Amendment. Oh, that's an interesting take then. He's saying that the mask is a political statement, and by forcing kids to wear them, you're making a political statement Now that would be against the First Amendment. Okay, fantastic. All right, you can read the rest of that one on your own. These, by the way, all these articles that we'll just skim through will be in the magic link in the second paragraph of the description down below. At the end of the show, I will let you know when I have converted that link, because I have to do a little quick magic thing here, and then poof, I change the link there. And also I'll drop the link into the chat at the same time, as I always do. So if you want to catch some more of these stories or read a little more detail, you can do that after the show, which I will, like I said, I changed it during the outro. All right. Also, but the trend keeps kicking. Some blue states to end mask mandates joining Biden's pivot before the midterms. Oh, a pivot before the midterm. Now I realize this is Breitbart, a right-wing nut job news organization. Honk honk. Anyway, no, it's Breitbart. So you know they have a right-leaning bend to their stories, but great headline: Blue states and mask mandates joining Biden's pivot before the midterms. Hello, Retro Veteran Gamer, by the way, and Duck Dog, a longtime listener. So New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, who usually plays along to get along. Well, that was Monday. He will end mask mandates for school children and teachers the second week in March, the New York Times reported. So he's still a month out. Just end them now. They're useless. The kids, look, if you look at the CDC chart, you realize that this is not hurting kids, except for the very rare case of certain comorbidities. But they're twice as more likely to drown than die from COVID-19. There have been twice as many drownings every year as there are COVID-19. So just saying, unless you want to ban water. So anyway, the New York Times reported this, with the 2022 midterm elections on the horizon. Democrat-controlled states have perhaps realized their stupid 19 policies are untenable. Pennsylvania announced it will allow children to remove masks, while New York and Connecticut are weighing whether to extend or allow mask mandates to expire. Delaware will remove mask mandates March 31st. Yeah, we'll see if that actually happens. The overwhelming sentiment of both sides of the aisle, Murphy said Wednesday, is we want to get to a place where we can live with this thing in as normal a fashion as possible before the midterm elections. Now, they think Breitbart added that because the quote ends at possible, and Breitbart added before the midterm elections because, that's a great motivating factor. Now, with DeSantis, Ron DeSantis and Governor Greg Abbott leading the way, many red states banned mask mandates in the summer, which Democrats strongly fought in the courts, and they lost almost every time. Currently, 8 states have banned mask mandates, and 16 are still mandating masks, according to the National Academy for State Health Policy. So anyway, like I said, there's a theme. It's a theme. Delaware to lift school mask mandates. That's in Human Events. We already talked about that by March 31st, I believe. Delaware Governor Jim Carney announced a phased plan to lift school mask mandates over the next 2 months. In a tweet Monday, Carney said that the mask requirements for K-12 public and private schools and child care facilities will end in March 31st. Again, it's a theme going through Democrat quarters. And also, Adams and Hochul pressed to lift school mask mandates following the New Jersey decision. Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul faced mounting pressure Monday to lift mask mandates for students and teachers, as New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy detailed the demasking program or plan for next month. His honor boasted that less than 1% of pupils were testing positive for stupid 19. Murphy said he'll rescind his controversial statewide order on March 7th, calling it a huge step back to normalcy for our kids. Murphy said he also, we already talked about him. Later Monday, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont said that Nutmeg State's mask mandates for schools will be lifted on February 28th. I think today with boosters, stop vaccinating the freaking kids. Anyway, because there's no difference in what happens to them, vaccinated or unvaccinated. That's on the CDC website, YouTube. Don't you dare do that misinformation bullshit with me. It's on. I'm quoting the CDC website. And they said, I think today with boosters, given vaccines, and given the N95 mask, you're in a better position to keep yourself safe and your child in a better place. Look, if you're under 50, or excuse me, under 50, or I was going to say not a fat cow, but I can't say that. If you're not obese, you don't have already comorbidities like respiratory issues, mass vacations, none of it matters. You're going to get it. First of all, you're going to get it. You're very unlikely to have any severe symptoms. You'll have some, might have symptoms, but you're going to get it no matter what. Dr. Fauci said that everyone's going to get it, whether or not they have the Fauci juice or not. He said that on national TV. You're going to get it one way or another. Does it matter if you get it from someone who has the juice or doesn't have the juice? No. Same viral load, same spreadability, same contagion, but contagiousness thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You're going to get it. That's what Dr. Fauci said. So, now, they say, well, it just depends on severity. Well, oh, by the way, that probably 100 million people or more have already had it, even though the websites say 60 million. Well, if you think about the studies from Iceland where they did random testing to find out, how many people may have had asymptomatic stupid 19, it's like almost 80% more people had it than they expected. So a vast majority of the country has either had it or has had the Fauci juice. Please start recognizing, as Ted Lieu and Joe Rogan said, natural immunity. Please, you fuckers. Did I wait long enough? Yes, I did. It's been an hour in. I can start swearing up a storm now. There you go. Also, is the tide turning against mask mandates? That's the question that PJ Media asked. I have one answer. I have an answer for that. Is the tide turning against mask mandates for school? Duh. Yes, obviously. I'll leave the article in the tabs. Anyway, moving on. That was easy. Now, this is interesting, and I'm not sure what this is about. I just saw the article, so I figured I'd click on it. Joe Biden's top science advisor resigns following internal investigation into his bullying. Huh. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I'm sorry. I hate to do this. Well, I don't hate to do this. I need to do this because this is a small part of my income stream. By the way, good morning, Tessa Cunningham. How you doing, my friend? And I have to shill. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by the viewers of Morning Night Live. Please share the stream anytime before, during, or after the stream. When you see the notification, that's the time you can start sharing. Click the share button, or just go to your favorite social media and cut and paste the URL into that social media. Also, hit the like button if you haven't done it so far. I'm sure you like me if you're still here. If you don't like me, well, there are worse things I could do. But anyway, also, that's a song from Greece. There are worse things I could do. Who sings that? Isn't it Rizzo sings that song in Greece? Anyway, I don't know what made me think of that. And then also, if you want to sponsor the show, you can do that at PDawgKnight.live, which is the Streamlabs link. In the upper right-hand corner of that link, there's the Streamlabs donation thingy, whatever you fill in and whatnot, or you can do super chats or whatever. The description down below tells you how to do that. All right, back from the shill. Let's go back to which one was I on? This one we did. So Biden's top science advisor is getting the boot, or he resigned. He resigned, right? He resigned. President Joe Biden's top science advisor, Eric Lander, resigned Monday evening after an internal White House investigation found that he bullied subordinates. Well, you awful, awful man. Serving as the director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, A 2-month investigation found that Lander was disrespectful towards staff and spoke to women colleagues in a demeaning and abrasive way in public settings. White House Deputy Director of Management and Administration Personnel for Christian Peel said in a 20-minute briefing outlining the investigation. Is there any video here? Was he saying, hey, go get my coffee, sweetie, or some shit like that? I don't know what he was doing. Anyway, a briefing and internal investigation was first reported by Politico. That's not the Political article. Oh yeah, it is. We'll open that one so you can read that if you want to. Lander's resignation comes hours after White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, not to be confused with the warm Japanese alcohol, repeatedly dodged questions about the debacle, including why Biden, who publicly promised to fire anyone on the spot who was disrespectful towards colleagues, had not yet let Lander loose. Wait a minute. Is there a video of this cheesy apology? Okay, I'm gonna have to read the cheesy apology. Let me grab some apology music real quick. Just a second. Let's see. That's that. Where is that over there? Okay, let me find some apology music. Let's go with a mood of let's go sadness. Let's go sad. Here we go. Is that sad? That's not sad. What the hell? Hang on. Let's try this one. There we go. There's some sad music. Okay. Here's his apology. I am devastated that I caused hurt to past and present colleagues by the way in which I have spoken to them. We have assembled the most amazing set of people. Oh, let's read the whole. There's the letter right there. Anyway, I'm sorry. Well, that didn't work. What the hell? Hang on. God, I've ruined the whole. This was a great bit until I ruined it by screwing up. How much music do I have left? Do I have enough? Oh, there's plenty. Okay, let's go back to where we were. Good God, what is going on? All right, fuck it. We have assembled the most amazing set of people at the OSTP, and we have together set out the most ambitious goals that this agency has ever attempted. I have sought to push myself and my colleagues to reach our shared goals, including, at times, challenging and criticizing. But it is clear that things I said and the way that I said them crossed the line at times into being disrespectful and demeaning to both men and women. That was never my intention. Nonetheless, it is my fault and my responsibility. I will take this lesson forward, and I believe it is not possible to continue effectively in my role, in the work of this office. And the work of this office is far too important to be hindered. Okay, enough of that shit. Anyway, so he's getting the boot for being. I would imagine maybe he was just a racist, sexist pig or something, but you know, he does work for Joe Biden. He only apologized to the staff in an email. It still is not. It's a little unclear what this was all about, but if you want to dig deeper, you can read the rest of the article yourself. Let's move to this. Oh, here it is. He bullied and demeaned subordinates, according to White House investigation. All right, done with that. All right, let's get into a little Canadian, a little bit of Canadian news. At least talking about the truckers, our friends, the truckers. I do have a proverb that's in a part of another series of proverbs I used to do. about truckers that I'm going to be putting out later today, by the way. Surprise! The Winnipeg car ramming suspect is actually Antifa. And an alleged pedophile. He's the total package. That's kind of redundant. But anyway, Canada's Princess Trudeau and his government-funded news outlet, the Canadian Broadcasting Company, are treating Canadian truckers the same way American lefty news outlets reported January 6th, spewing lies about Nazis and phantom violence. One man, believed to be a paid actor, showed up carrying a Confederate flag. He was also the only person in the video covering his face. That's a Buster's Outlaw. He was promptly and peacefully called out by protesters and asked to leave. Here's this jackass. He's the only one wearing a mask, carrying a Confederate flag. Oh, look how nicely folded, creased that
now
is.
Now he's gone.
The trucker said, "Get the fuck out of here. You're an asshole."
He knows.
All right, he knows, right?
He's gonna hold his head in shame now.
All right, so anyway.
It was a perfect example of the crowd doing its job. You know, this guy is obviously not part of us. They told him to get out, you know, politely, no violence or anything. That's the way we're keeping it. He put his head down in shame.
Oh no, this is a violent, dangerous insurrection.
I don't know. Maybe he's a paid actor, maybe he isn't, but you know, the full face mask.
Okay, so whatever. Anyway, so does he not realize there are no Canadian Confederates? I mean, what a dickhead. The truckers are entirely peaceful, but the Sally Boys of Antifa have heard Trudeau's dog whistle and are showing up to do what they do best, violently attacking people and most likely not paying the price. Factorama, J6 Buffalo guy Jacob Chansley got a 41-month jail sentence for walking peacefully through the Capitol, while Mohammed Hussein Abdi was given probation for pleading guilty to trying to burn down a school. That's just an example. Anyway, the only actual violence occurred when a car plowed through some protesters in Winnipeg and it wasn't a Canadian patriot at the wheel. You can see it here. I'll leave that link open. David Alexander Zagrak of Headingley, Manitoba, was arrested for allegedly injuring 4 protesters. He ran 4 red lights in his attempt to escape his charge. Charges include 4 counts of assault with a weapon, dangerous operation of a vehicle causing bodily harm, and failing to stop at the scene of the accident. Now, the punchline is, the police say they do not yet have a motive for his attack. They always do, of peaceful protesters. However, a blue check-marked journalist did call for violence against the protesters, going so far as to call them Nazis, as opposed to, you see, there's you see, and then you not see. So here it is. This is a journalist with a blue check mark. A journalist with a blue check mark. Get off my screen. If you see a Nazi on the side of the road, do the responsible thing and run them over. And look at here, this fine Canadian citizen obliged. Anyway, the 40-year-old Ziggurat fancies himself as a punk Antifa singer. He's also an alleged pedophile. His punk rock dreams went up in flames after numerous accusations of sexual assault, including the grooming and rape of a 13-year-old girl. Now, where have we seen an Antifa pedophile before? Oh, pretty much everywhere. Kyle Rittenhouse fatally perforated Joseph Rosenbaum, who was convicted of sodomizing a young boy, several young boys, by the way. Rosenbaum was in prison for 10 years. But it seems that Antifa has problems with pedophiles everywhere, so they give you several examples here that you can look through, and there you go. FTG to Antifa pedophiles, and that's, like I said, that's a little bit redundant. Also in Canadian news, majority of Canadians now want to end the COVID rules after this trucker uprising, insurrection, after a massive 15 percentage point swing in the space of just 2 weeks, and coinciding with the trucker revolt. A majority of Canadians now want all COVID rules to end. A poll conducted by the Angus Reid Institute found that 54% of Canadians agree it's time to end restrictions, with the strongly agree category of the answer rising by 11 points in a fortnight. So if you want to hear more about that, Canadians, the beast is arising in Canada. Good for them. Good for them. Also Canadian. Now, apparently some of the Ottawa activists are asking Trudeau to leave his undisclosed location and come say this shit to our face. Come here and say it in our face, biatch.
Tell our audience why you came out today.
Here it is.
You know what? There's a lot. There's so many emotions right now. So first of all, the things that Trudeau is saying really fires me up. We're not misogynists. We're not racists. We're not bigots. How dare he say that? And I've been saying this for a while because we run the Freedom and rallies in Peterborough, Ontario.
Right.
We organize them. I've been saying for a bit, almost jokingly, but not, for Trudeau to come and say these things to our face. And I heard a couple truckers say that.
Come
Trudeau,
say it to our face.
we want you to come and talk to us.
Bitch.
You owe us that. You're our leader, and you need to come and figure it out. You need to talk to us, and you need to address the people that are here to see you. This is one of the most peaceful, loving movements I've ever been to in my entire life. There is not one person that is motivated by anything other than love here right now. Everybody is high-fiving each other on the street. People are loving the food, the drink. The people are making sure that
drink,
everyone
baby.
is warm.
Okay,
The camaraderie. I mean, all you got to do is look around, and you know what? The projection is what's going on with Trudeau and his government right now. Telling us that we are violent is absolutely ridiculous, because all one has to do is look around to know that we are actually motivated by love, not fear. And we dare you, Trudeau, to come and speak to us to our faces. You owe us that. We deserve that. And let's go, because we're not leaving.
All right, good for her. Now, she's a fine young individual now, isn't she? Yeah, I love it. Come say it to her face, biatch. That's what I'd be telling Trudeau. You call him racist and saying they have unacceptable views. I mean, that was the funniest thing about his speech. Also in Canada, in Alberta is joining Saskatchewan in preparing to end stupid 19 restrictions. The Freedom Convoy is inspiring truck convoys around the world as truckers in Ottawa settle in for the long haul. We are now at the end of the first week of the Freedom Convoy rally, which appears to be part of the 2 weeks we needed to flatten the curve of emergency COVID restrictions. Earlier this week, the Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe set a target date in late February to end vaccination requirements for his province officially. Now Alberta's Prime Minister is preparing to end them as well. Alberta will move toward lifting stupid 19 restrictions early next week, starting with the restrictions exemption program and measures involving children, according to Premier Jason Kenney. The COVID cabinet committee will also lay out a phase plan, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it's finally, it's leaking into Canada, and the truckers are starting to have some influence. Canadian vet. Here's another person at the rally who says he will not be bullied by the Prime Minister.
I didn't serve this country to be bullied by a prime minister that ran away like a chicken. Who runs away from their people? Like, it's insane. If I was in the army right now, I'd be contemplating on leaving just because our leadership, our military, our country will have no credibility because of him. None whatsoever. And that's sad, because Canada is known across the world for their credibility of their military and their people.
So, the Canadians are doing the work that the rest of us doing. Now, let's move on back to the U.S. on this side of the border. Apparently, there's a massive firefight in one of Seattle's most liberal neighborhoods. Is anyone shocked by this? A massive firefight occurred early Sunday morning in one of Seattle's most liberal neighborhoods, according to the local police department. Seattle Police Department responded to calls at 2:30 a.m. Sunday that claimed multiple people were involved in a gunfight with over 40 gunshots reported in the city's Capitol Hill neighborhood. Now, oh, by the way, hi, Aaron Meredith. Hello. I said to you, also always lost, nothing else in the house. Hey, you recognize that? The Capitol Hill neighborhood, Capitol Hill, CHOP, Capitol Hill something zone. That used to be the Chaz. That's the CHOP. Anyway, 40 gunshots reported in the city's Capitol Hill neighborhood. No individuals were injured in the incident. Sunday's incident, that's because no one can shoot. They're a bunch of liberals. Anyway, I shouldn't say that. I know liberals who hunt. They're terrible shots. Anyway, Sunday's incident occurred 2 days after Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell pledged to combat the city's violent crime problem, KIRO7 reported. The fact of the matter is we've seen an increase in violent crime. Oh, really? Have you now? Just like a lot of places have? Anyway, where I see what I continue to see out here, I can't sleep at night. Well, good. You need to bring them police back, I guess. Detectives are now working with local businesses to recover surveillance video that captured the firefight, according to the Seattle Police Department. So anyway, what? There's, let's see. Oh, there's just people talking about it. And this guy had bullet holes in the side of his Mexican restaurant. So anyway, so yeah, Seattle. Oh no, it was Chop in. Yeah, Chop was in Seattle, right? Yeah, the Capitol Hill something protest. Anyway, now in Minneapolis, we had another police shooting. This one's bad. This is not a good one. This is, there are legitimate ones and there are illegitimate. I've got to feel like this one is not a good thing. Now, the only reason we don't have major protests in Minneapolis right now is because it's like 2 degrees outside or below zero sometimes, and you don't get as many big rallies and protests when it's cold. They wait. If it happened in March when it was thawing out, then there'd be people all over the streets. But anyway, the no-knock warrant debate is reinvigorated by police shooting death of Amir Locke. This is a bad one. The 22-year-old Locke was shot 3 times within 10 seconds of the SWAT team storming the residence. Now look, and they keep showing this picture. Yes, he had a gun in his hand. He was a licensed concealed carry holder, and people are busting into his house. He's probably wondering what the fuck's going on here. Anyway, let me start by stating that I am not a fan of no-knock warrants. The very idea strikes me as this is someone named there's a pen named Fuzzy Slippers. The very idea strikes me as grossly unjust and a direct violation of the foundational element of American jurisprudence that rightly considers it better than 10 to 100 guilty men grow a fee than one innocent man would suffer. In theory, our legal system is designed to protect the innocent at all costs, including occasional guilty person walking free when the burden of proof is not convincingly presented. Sir William Blackstone famously argued, and you can read the rest of that quote later. So, no-knock warrants are, in my mind, an unacceptable inversion of that core principle of American justice because they carry with them the assumption that everyone in the warranted dwelling site is not only a potential and immediate lethal threat to the invading SWAT team, but also is a criminal, has a criminal intent, and is otherwise unworthy of basic legal rights. Due process, in other words, is thrown out the window with no-knock warrants. And this is wrong. There is no justification whatsoever for storming of residents with a SWAT team whose members are necessarily on a high alert and combat ready because they are storming a dwelling with a SWAT team. I don't care if they're looking for Jack the Ripper or the next jihadi intent on causing Americans harm. No-knock warrants are an inexcusable use of force. This is an editorial, obviously. Are no inexcusable use of force that unnecessarily places everyone involved at risk of serious injury or death, including innocents who may be in the dwelling who aren't even the target of the warrant. As too often happens, the team has the wrong address, such as no-knock warrants. And as such, no-knock warrants have no place in a free and civil society. The recent police shooting of death of Amir Locke in Minneapolis during the execution of a no-knock warrant is a case in point. It's worth noting that police had both a warrant and a no-knock warrant related to a homicide investigation that itself was unrelated to Locke, but rejected executing the regular warrant. Things to note, Locke was not named in the warrant, nor was he reportedly a suspect or even a person of interest in the homicide investigation that served as grounds for the warrants. Further, he was in legal possession of a firearm, for which he had a concealed carry permit that he reportedly obtained because, as a DoorDash delivery driver, he feared carjackings. The 22-year-old Locke was shot 3 times within 10 to 14 seconds of the SWAT team storming the residence. And then they show, there's body cam footage, but you could see that. Yeah, this is bad. I mean, yeah, he reached, in fact, he did reach for his gun, his legally owned concealed weapon, because he was asleep when the unit stormed into the building. He didn't know who's breaking in. And he shot one of them. He probably would have gotten off for self-defense. So anyway, you can check the rest. You can read the rest of this article, but I think they're right. This is not a good one. Anyway, let's move on. These are just going to be snippets now because I'm sure. Oh, take it easy, Zach. Thanks for dropping in, my friend. Pushback. There's a huge increase in homeschooling in Virginia. Hell yeah. Homeschooling in Virginia has increased nearly 40% since 2019, which has been partly fueled by the implementation of critical race theory in classrooms and the stupid 19. The children don't belong to the state, although some of those teachers think that they do. And parents really want to impart their own values to their children, their values and beliefs, and their own worldview. And that is a major reason parents are homeschooling. Yvonne Bunn, Director of Government Affairs for the Home Educators Association of Virginia. So good, especially if you're in Loudoun County. If you can, homeschool your kids. By the way, on Hotep Nation, one of their big causes this year is homeschooling. They're raising funds to help people who are interested in homeschooling. And so if you're interested in that, go to hotepnation.com. I may even throw up a link into the list today. I think it's a great cause, and I have a lot of faith in my friend Hotep Jesus and Doe Dubes and those guys. So if you're interested in helping out with that, you can do that. Other articles that are going to be in the link today, but I'm not necessarily going to go through. This one from the Federalist, where a brush of censorship at George Washington University, GW. Yeah, George Washington University. Reveals America's vulnerability to Beijing's soft power. So the Chinese government polices speech. In China, the government polices speech, but in America, it's private institutions beholden to leftists and financial benefactors of Beijing. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Tyre Alexander. Appreciate another bullet in the tip jar. The firefight in former Chap Chaz is rival warlords. They are fighting over who gets to restore the Chop, reclaim the throne of Chop, and the titles of leader of Antifa and Tsar or Tsarina of the Chop. And their faction will be one true Antifa faction. Okay, that is I'm assuming you're being serious there, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I didn't know they were going to try to restore it, though, if that's the case. Homeschooling is a mistake if you're doing it to instill values. As soon as those kids reach age, they will rebel. Better to have them hear the side you don't want them to hear, to believe early. Oh, that's an interesting take. I think the reason to homeschool is more to I think kids are, well, it depends on how good you are at it. Homeschooling kids tend to excel in actual subjects that they're trying to do. But then again, I don't know the whole thing. But that is an interesting take. That is an interesting take. All right. Anyway, this is an article about how the Chinese government influence at some of these universities, because they get a lot of research money from the Chinese government, influences how you can talk about the Chinese. So someone here, in response to CSSA, George Washington University, president, claims he is personally offended by my art criticizing Chinese rights abuse like Uyghur genocide and oppression in Tibet and Hong Kong. I demand him an explanation on why exposing CCPC's abuse offends him. So what happened is there was this poster about the Beijing Olympics and it was kind of a spoof on the biathlon where they ski and shoot. And this guy made a poster basically protesting the Olympics. And let's see if you can see it here. Right here. Okay, you can see here where they have the Beijing Olympics, and here there's a biathlon person, but there's a guy here that pointed at with a the Muslim crescent. And then here it's basically there. And then here there's one playing curling with a COVID, and there's this guy's snowboarding off a surveillance camera, and so on and so forth. So this was a poster at George Washington University. Well, apparently there was protest over this poster, and the president of the university, he decided he gave a letter condemning this racism, right? He was condemning the racism until somebody finally explained to him what the poster was. And so he kind of backed down, but still, one of the reasons that you have this type of criticism at American universities is because the influence China has even over here in the U.S. And so, did that close the article? No, here's the whole article still. So you can check that out here. Apparently there's a 60 Minutes interview about this. So moving, and then finally, let's see, I got a couple more things. The backlash against leftist extremism in schools is now hitting San Francisco. This is a fascinating Federalist article too. Hoping to preserve school board members' seats, San Francisco Bernie-crats have resorted to misinformation and doxing ahead of the February 15 vote. In less than 2 weeks, San Francisco residents will cast a vote to recall 3 leftist school board members: Board President Gabriela Lopez, Vice President Falunja Moliga, and Commissioner Allison Collins. These 3 have been criticized for several issues, including extended school closures in response to Stupid-19, racial bias against Asian Americans, and the board's zealous pursuit of social justice at the expense of providing quality education to all students. The louder supporters of these board members are a group called San Francisco Bernie-crats, Democratic supporters of socialist Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign. The group leader was Brandy Markman, who campaigned for board members Collins and Lopez, hoping to preserve the 3 members' seats. Bernie-crats have resorted to some dirty tactics against the recall campaign and its supporters ahead of the election day on February 15th. One of the tactics they have is known for is actively spreading misinformation. Markman created a spiderweb meme, which demeans the recall campaign as deep pocket right-wing anti-racist conspiracy movement. I think she meant racist conspiracy movement. Anyway, when a parent called Markman out in a public forum to explain the spiderweb meme, below Markman feigned being a victim and refused to answer. So basically saying that all these right-wing groups are here for the recall, but I don't think it's just right-wing. They're just tired of the nonsense. So anyway, you can get more detailed into that article on your own. It'll be in the tab below. Also, the University of Minnesota. Oh my God. So alumni are protesting a scholarship that the university is proposing in the name of St. George Floyd. To mark the 1-year anniversary of his death, the Carlson School of Management, which is a fine business school, like one of the great business schools in the country. The Carlson School of Management at the University of Minnesota announced that they are endowing a new scholarship in honor of George Perry Floyd Jr., the drug addict and criminal who became famous through his unnecessary death at the hands, I added the word unnecessary, although likely inevitable, but you know my feelings on that. Derek Chauvin fucked up and did not have proper situational awareness. Did he actually kill George Floyd? Who knows? That the drugs in the system could have easily killed him. It's very unlikely that Chauvin did kill him, but he absolutely is responsible for the life of a suspect he's taking into custody and needed to have the situational awareness to realize that the guy is dying right underneath his knee. And so, at least one of those charges absolutely should have been guilty. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. You may have a different opinion, and I respect that. Two of the charges were bullshit, though, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, but the fact that they would name a scholarship after this career criminal probably does. I'm pretty sure Jordan didn't have a college degree, probably didn't go to the University of Minnesota, probably didn't even, well, I don't know. This is crazy. So anyway, there's some alumni protesting it. If you want to read the details, it's quite the article. Let's go. The AG, the Attorney General of Arizona, says his state is under invasion from illegal migrants, threatens to defy Biden and defend the border. Well, I know they're in Texas. They were talking about completing border wall there. Now Arizona, the Republican Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich issued an opinion Monday calling the crisis at the border an invasion, claiming that by declaring it as such, the state is allowed to take more action to defend itself against the invasion. The federal government's failure to secure the border and protect Arizona from the invasion is dangerous and unprecedented. Brnovich said in a statement, the founders foresaw that states might need to protect themselves from invasion and made clear in the Constitution that states retain the sovereign power to defend themselves within their territory. So this might be a little bit of a constitutional battle between the White House and the state of Arizona, but he's a lawyer and he knows the Constitution. So I don't know why you wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know why a state that has a border with another country wouldn't be able to protect that border. It's not necessarily just the purview of the federal government to do that. You would think it's a responsibility of the state government to make sure that you have a legal shit going on in your state. So also, I'm almost done here. Suspected human trafficker, full-on Zombieland freak out caught on camera. Let's see. We'll just this is great.
Okay. Put your feet in.
She's being arrested. No, watch. Look, watch her face.
Man, put your feet in so we can close the doors.
Okay. I'm just gonna close the door. You stay right there before we move. Hey,
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Back up.
back up.
I wish I could think of the music for The Walking Dead.
Hold on. Hey, get your foot back
Get
in
your
there.
foot back in there.
Get your foot back in there. Ma'am.
Man, we're gonna have to tase you. You're not
I
gonna like
don't
that.
understand what you're telling me.
Get in the fucking van. Biatch. That's what they're telling you. Get in the door.
Bro. We're gonna have to secure in a different vehicle. Ma'am.
All right. Isn't she special? All right. There you go. That's that's wild. Anyway, I was I'll finish with this New York Post article. There's another one on Human Events about Cuomo, who says he feels vindicated. And he's thinking about running for office again. Andrew Cuomo. So here's I got to go with the New York Post article here. Andrew Cuomo vindicated only in his delirious, dirty mind. Now, look, he vindicated on what? Because apparently they decided not to press charges on him for his admittedly lame sexual harassment allegations. They're pretty lame for the most part. But now he thinks he wants to run again for governor. And it's the blink of an eye since Andrew Cuomo resigned. Yet for Cuomo himself, the 5 months since his forced resignation is clearly a lifetime. When you know he's gone from hashtag #B2 scourge to political martyr. Aww. I never resigned because I did something wrong. I never resigned. Okay, I forgot how to do a Cuomo voice. Because I did something wrong, Cuomo told Bloomberg News. I said I'm resigning because I don't want to be a distraction. He added the dubious data-free self-report that he's been vindicated. I've said before, and I'll say it again, we are living in a horror movie where no monster is ever slain. They just keep popping back up like the soulless zombies they are, trying to terrorize us into submission. It's no surprise Cuomo wants elected office again. It's all he's been bred to do. What else is there? Lobbying? Sure, but that's not what Andrew Cuomo's about. He's only about power. Save our democracy. He's always has been, amassing it, wielding it, and bullying with it, using it to harass and demean women in his employ, and forcing over 10,000 elderly nursing home residents to their certain COVID death while accepting an Emmy and a $5 million book deal as the face of COVID leadership. That's the one that he should be worried about. Please, somebody bring that back to him to bite him in the ass. Truly, Cuomo should consider himself lucky that the latter scandal hasn't landed him behind bars. He should embrace that unearned good fortune and slink off. Or fuck off. But here he comes, like so many Me Too'd men before him, using a playbook that no longer works. Cuomo, sexual dinosaur that he is, didn't understand he was crossing the line, especially with women young enough to be one of his daughters. To which any sensible person circa now would say, if Cuomo can't tell when he's making female subordinates uncomfortable by prodding them about their sex lives or telling them, as he did one, that he was looking for a girlfriend who can handle pain, or by touching, groping, and kissing them against their will, well, why should we trust him with all that power? This lady's on fire. Last year's highly detailed, damning Attorney General's report found Cuomo guilty of sexually harassing 11 women. Yet he dismisses it, telling Bloomberg that it was a brand of ugly politics like I'd never seen before. God, you have fucking Chuck Schumer as your senator. You were the governor. What are you talking about? Anyway, let's see. Does he even hear himself? Andrew Cuomo, one of the dirtiest players in electoral politics, a victim? And now in his crosshairs is the AG herself, Letitia James, because Cuomo, of course, is eyeing her seat. Oh my God, Andrew Cuomo's the Attorney General. But here's one piece of evidence that the original AG's report testimony given by a witness known only as Executive Assistant Number 1 trapped, she says, in the then governor's office alone with him on November 16, 2020. Quote, he slammed the door shut. I said, you're going to get us in trouble. To which the governor replied, I don't care. It was sexually driven. Then Governor Cuomo said he slid his hand inside an upper blouse. I'm not going to play that music. Sorry. He was like cupping my breast. He cupped my breast. I have to tell you, it was, at the moment, I was in such shock that I could just tell you that I just remember looking down and seeing his hand, seeing the top of my bra. And I remember it was like a little, even the cup, kind of a bra that I had to the point I could tell you doesn't really fit me properly. It was a little loose. I just remember seeing exactly that. Anyway, that's a high level of detail for a very credible trauma response. Conversely, investigators found Cuomo's utter lack of detail in his multiple denials hard to believe. As to why Executive Assistant Number 1 didn't file a formal complaint at the time or push him away, people say after the fact, why didn't you slap the governor? I'm not going to assault the governor. I would be taken away by the state police officers, and I would be the one that would get in trouble, and I would be the one to lose my job. not him. Doesn't this sound like the Andrew Cuomo we all regrettably have come to know so well? Not to Cuomo himself. You know, Cuomo told Bloomberg, "I've had the time and space to get a little philosophical. Too many people run for office because it's about them. It's about their ego, their need." Just his ironic words. Please, like Cuomo has been plotting his comeback since the moment he resigned. Ego and need. We all saw this coming after last week's dinner with Eric Adams, and why Adams would sully himself like this, I have no idea. Like a jilted boyfriend, Andrew Cuomo can't believe that New York is doing just fine without him. In fact, we're better than ever. Yet he refuses to get the message, even after his brother Chris made headlines last week with his own sordid lawsuit against a former employer, CNN. Andrew revealed as taking advice from ousted head Jeff Zucker on how to lead during the pandemic. Brother Chris used his position to try to smear at least one of Andrew's accusers. "If you were single, the things I would do to you." That's another quote. Just another day in the executive office, then Governor Cuomo bantering as he would no doubt call it, with another degraded, demoralized female employee, one who reported that little zinger to the AG. Make no mistake, Andrew Cuomo needs power like oxygen. And his favorite application of power is to bully, predate, and denigrate. He gets off on it. Hillary Clinton is no longer the Dems' most nightmarish comeback, and that is saying something. So there you go. There's the editorial from the New York Post. Other things up here is a $200 million Somali welfare fraud paid for trips to Mecca. That's in Front Page Magazine. And I did leave a link to my proverb for the current year about not apologizing. That's going to be it today, people, because I'm running past time. So, hey, I hope you had a fun time today. Hope you found some information that was interesting and enveloping. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, hope you had a good time. And thanks for being here. I'm back tomorrow at my normal time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And if you haven't done so already, smash the like button. That sounds so cliche and old. Hip check the like button. That's even better, since we have hockey going on. Also, if you'd be so kind, share the stream before, during, after the stream. If you watch on replay, put a comment in the comment section so that I know you dropped by. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can do it at PDawgKnight.live 24 hours a day. Also, Venmo and Cashapp, or YouTube SuperChats and Streamlabs, aka PDawgKnight.live during the show. That's it for today, people. It is time for me to go. Thank you for being here again. And our sponsors today, Black Hebrew Israelite, John Arnott, and Tyre Alexander, who is the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you. Salute. Have a great day. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.